Welcome back to Hot Roster today, now focusing in on yesterday, as is aptly named on our show placard. Right there, Cam.
Placard. I like that. The show placard.
So we're going to go over some of the things we went over on Friday. Talk about the top wide receivers card available to people up on HotRoster.com. Again, guys, go to HotRoster.com if you want to play on HotRoster. You can download the app. Android or iPhone, does not matter. It's a lot of fun. So, still an active matchup from this card, Cam. We had Jordy Nelson against Larry Fitzgerald.
You wish you had Fitzgerald in this matchup.
You had Fitz. I had Jordy.
So what do I got to get? 70 yards tonight? Not even a touchdown.
Not even 70 yards. You need 50 yards because Jordy Nelson lost 2 points after losing a fumble.
Forgot about the old fumble.
So just 68 yards receiving. So the thing I want to ask you, Cam, and we kind of break down. We spent a good deal of time breaking down Fitz, and it's a great matchup for him. The Jets have struggled as a pass defense this season, but Jordy, is he like touchdown or bust now? I mean,
he is.
It's kind of strange.
Because you're looking at the numbers, what we're talking, like 38 yards, 68 yards. These are pretty pedestrian numbers, and you talked about it. When he doesn't get a touchdown, you're really concerned because he doesn't get the yardage. He still has 5 touchdowns, Gary, and that's the good news. The bad news is I don't like the way the Packers' offense looks. No. It is a train wreck. I know the Dallas Cowboys are on fire, but if you're a Jordy Nelson owner, I think you have to be a little bit concerned because at the start, the touchdowns were there. I can't see him playing at that level. Yeah,
I mean, he basically, if they're only going to have 2 or 3 red zone possessions a game,
he's
got to come out with a touchdown in one of those. The odds aren't really there, and as you mentioned, so far this season, Aaron Rodgers just 6.46 yards per attempt.
Is he an average quarterback now, in your opinion, or is he just a guy's regressing, or just what's wrong with this guy?
It's been about 16 games. People forget he started last season really well, too. They went 6-0 out of the gate. Their offense was rolling on all cylinders. I'm still going to give him a little bit more time, but I have concerns.
I have major concerns.
And I think the thing with Nelson, too, is, even you go back, and this guy has been putting up big numbers for about 4 or 5 seasons now, but he's never been a receiver who's caught more than 100 passes in a year. Like, he's a guy who has always feasted and always benefited from the touchdowns and just from the huge yards per reception. Like, go back to 2011. 15 touchdowns that season, just 68 catches. Like, if you're in a PPR, and I know Hot Roster is not a PPR, but season-long perspective here, he needs to get those touchdowns. So he's going to put up a couple 68-yard games with a fumble and no touchdowns. It's going to be really disappointing if he doesn't score that touchdown. So right now, I do have concerns.
We lean Larry.
I think Larry's going to do this. I think he's going to come through.
Larry should get it done.
I think you're in the clear here on this one, Cam. One where we sort of went wrong, although the very interesting matchup between Doug Baldwin
Did we go wrong, or
and
just
Marvin
was that
Jones.
a bad break?
Well, I had Marvin Jones, but at the same time, I don't feel good about it.
No.
I really don't. He was a half-point underdog to Doug Baldwin, who had a juicy matchup at home, which was big. He'd scored in 6 straight home games against the Atlanta Falcons, who had not looked good as a pass defense so far this season, but Baldwin comes away with just 31 yards receiving, so 3.1 points. Marvin Jones, just 10 yards for the, at one time, NFL leader in receiving yards, but a touchdown on like the 3rd play of the game or something like that. So 7.3 points for Marvin Jones. Also had 3 rushing yards, just to add a little fuel to the fire.
What's up with Detroit and their wide receivers? They love giving these guys the balls. Golden Tate, they just love pitching balls to receivers. They love the end arounds.
It seems like Stafford, and this is a philosophy. Bob Cooter came in, and it seemed like he changed the whole thing for Stafford. They love just these short intermediate routes. I know week 1 against the Colts, I remember that Stafford was 28 for 28 when targeting receivers who weren't Marvin Jones. Marvin Jones had a huge game against the Colts, but 28 for 28 when it was like Riddick or Tate or Bolden, all this underneath stuff. I mean, these are high percentage passes, and you don't have to look much farther than New England to figure out this stuff works.
You got to hand it to Detroit though. But with the running back issues that they had, Stafford's doing a pretty good job mixing in everybody.
Yeah, their offensive line from a running perspective has not been good, but it's great. I will say the one thing about Jones, it's been concerning how little he's caught the ball. The volume's been way down the last 2 weeks. Something that jumped out to me when looking at his stats. Not only is he's got only Julio Jones has a higher yards per reception among receivers with 20-plus catches than his 18.2 yards per reception. So already, that number might go down at some point. That's a regression kind of target. But 6.8 yards after the catch per catch. That's 10th in the NFL right now. That's kind of one of those things that you can't really trust that. That's not something that carries over week to week to week. He's not always going to break the first tackle, So there's some concerns about Jones, but it's all about perception. Like, if you started to think that Marvin Jones was the best receiver in the league,
and you're crazy.
Don't think that. He's a really good wide receiver, too.
He's
and you probably draft him as a wide receiver 3, so you're still smiling, I think.
Exactly. No, but we see major regression, though, in the future. His first couple weeks were amazing. It's not going to happen again.
Yeah, and I think that Doug Baldwin, rough week, but I think he'll be back.
Doug Baldwin, he actually looked good when he caught the ball. They were just little screen. They were hitch passes. They didn't go deep to him.
Didn't go deep at all. Jarvis Landry versus Terrell Pryor.
We gotta love
point
Pryor.
and a half underdog. 2 touchdowns for Pryor, 3 yards rushing. Also had a single passing yard, 75 yards receiving, up over 19 points. Jarvis Landry had a great game.
He did.
But as is the thing with Jarvis Landry, which I stressed on Friday's show, he does not score touchdowns, Cam.
But hey, 91 yards against you got to. That's a productive game.
Great
but you're
game.
Right, no touchdown.
Great game, but just not a guy who gets in the end zone. And it's not even so much his fault. I was looking into this. The only quarterback with less pass attempts so far this season inside the 10-yard line than Ryan Tannehill is Case Keenum.
Wow.
So the Dolphins just don't get inside the 10, and when they do, they seem content to run the ball.
Exactly.
So, I mean, Jarvis Landry is just not someone who's going to get in the end zone. Like last season, top 25 receivers and targets. Only 2 guys scored less than 5 touchdowns. And it was Jarvis Landry and Mike Evans. And Mike Evans has already scored more than that this season. So,
but Terrell Pryor, what a great story.
Yeah.
We're talking about he's value. He's one of those guys, 59 targets already this year. Come on, Gary. And he's getting the touchdowns, too. You got to love it. This guy's and with all the injuries to Cleveland's receivers, I think Pryor's a must start.
Yeah, Josh Gordon not coming back. He might actually
be
a wide receiver.
Coleman looked like he was going to do it. He got banged up.
Yeah. No, I mean,
I'm sold on
Terrell
Pryor
right now is fantastic. And he's always going to give you that little element of possibly giving you some rush yards, some passing yards. So some bonuses there. Let's move to a hockey matchup that we talked about on Friday as we sort of transition. We're going to talk about the HotRoster hockey cards tonight. 2 cards on the slate tonight. We'll get to that next segment. But we had the All-Nashville Predators matchup. Philip Forsberg against James Neal. And Cam, I got to shake your hand on this one. I got to shake your hand. I wish we could play back the tape because you said, even though Philip Forsberg's a better offensive player, James Neal in a heated battle against the Blackhawks might just get into a scrap.
You don't expect that. Hey, Jonathan Toews, I'm Neal. No, that's the thing. And you like to see that stuff. He's that feisty type of guy that, you know what I mean? He'll mix it up, a team leader. But I'll give myself the old Barry Horowitz, Gary, and you're the man. But I got lucky there with the fight.
You were right on that one. So with the 5 penalty minutes at a quarter of a point per minute, and 1 shot on goal, 2.25 points. Philip Forsberg loses a point because he was a -1 on the night, only 1.5 points. So James Neal wins that
tough matchup.
4 games on the ice tonight, Cam, and we're going to break down 1 card, the power play card, which again is available to you at HotRoster.com. So Cam and I will talk a little bit about that, talk about the ice and the puck when we come back on Hot Roster today.